Bole Baba Ki Jai. In our last reading, we heard about how Sukha Deva, although he had heard all of the Puranas, was still very unabsorbed, dispassionate, and quiet, and seemed to always be thinking and worrying about something. So his father Vedavyasa said, if the Puranas, the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam doesn't help you, and it doesn't seem as if this is becoming any better for you, then he advised him to go meet King Janaka, who lived in Matilha, far away, to see an actual example of somebody who could be a householder and still be a Jiva Mukta, that is, one who is enlightened even though he's still alive. So here we begin on chapter 17 about that journey to very far away. And in those days it was walking, so this seemed to take him a few years. Chapter 17. Sutta said, thus speaking to his father about his intention to go to Matilha, the high-souled Sukha Deva fell prostrate at his father's feet and with folded palms said, O highly fortunate one, your word must be obeyed by me. Now I desire to see, as you say, the kingdom of Janaka. Kindly give me permission, O father. Again, the doubt is coming within me, how can the king Janaka be governing his kingdom without sentencing his body to attachment? And if there be no punishment within his kingdom, no one will remain in the path of virtue. It is for the sake of preserving religion that Manu and the other sages have always prescribed for punishment. How then religion can be preserved without inflicting punishment? O Father, what you have spoken to me appears to me true like the sentence, my mother is barren, so, O destroying foes, permit me, and I will start from Matilha. Seeing the greatly wise son, Sukha, void of any desires, earnestly anxious to go to Matilha, Vedavyasa gave him a cordial and warm embrace and said, O highly intelligent son Sukha, peace be on you. Have a long life, O child. Speak truly before me and go. O son, say that after going to Matilha, you will come back again to this ashram, never that you will go anywhere else. I am saying, therefore, after seeing Janaka and clearing your doubts, please come here again and remain at peace and study on the Vedas. Vyasa, having spoken thus, Sukha Deva bowed down and circumambulated his most worshipful father and went out. He began to walk very fast, like an arrow leaving the bow, and when it has left the bow. On his journey, he saw various countries, various classes of persons earning money, various gardens and forests, various trees. In some places, he saw fields with green grains and grains standing on them. At others, he saw ascetics practicing asceticism and initiated yajniks performing yagyas and sacrifices. In some places, he saw yogis practicing yoga, the high-souled people on the third stage of life residing in the forest. And at other places, he saw devotees of Shiva, Shakti, Ganesh, Surya, and Vishnu, and many others. Thus he went on in his journey in great wonder towards his destination. In his passage, he crossed the great Mount Meru, and in 2 years, he crossed the Mount Himalayas in 1 year, and then finally reached the city of Matilha. Going there, he found the place full of wealth, corn, grains, and all prosperity, and the people were all very happy, and they observed the rules of conduct, as in the sastras. When he was about to enter the city, the guard in front of the gate stopped him, asking, Who are you, sir? What for have you come here? When the guard asked him thus, He replied nothing and went away at a distance, and with great wonder could not help laughing in his mind, and remained motionless like a statue. At this the guard said, "O Brahman, why have you remained silent? Kindly say what you have come for. I know this well, that nobody goes anywhere without having something to do. The king has forbidden strangers whose parentage and characters are unknown. Therefore, O Brahman, everyone has to take the king's permission before he goes into the city. It seems that you are very energetic, Brahman, and that you know the Vedas. So, O giver of honor, speak out to me your object and view, and go in the city as you like." Hearing these words of the guard, Sukha Deva began to say, "I have come to see the city of Janaka, but now I see that persons like me find great difficulties to enter here. So, O gatekeeper, I've got the answer from you. I was a great fool that I was so much deluded that to see the king I crossed many countries and overtopped the 2 huge mountain ranges and have come here. What blame can I put on others? It is my father that has deluded me, or my karma done in my previous births is now making me wander about. Alas, in this world, greed for money is the sole cause to make a man knock about. But I have not got that even. My erroneous ideas has brought me to this far. I now realize that a man having no desires gets constant happiness if he be not plunged in the net of delusion, else he cannot have any other. O great one, though I have no desire for anything, yet I am plunged in the sea of moha. Alas, where is Meru and where is Matilha? A great distance intervenes between the 2 of them. I have walked so great a distance on foot. Alas, this is the results of my so long journey. Therefore, I am thoroughly convinced that the Creator has deceived me. One must have to suffer for his parada karma, be it auspicious or inauspicious. One must make one's effort, being always under the control of this law of karma. Though there be no apparent desire or cause, yet this parada karma always puts a man into different actions. This place is not a holy place, it's not a tirtha, nor here are the Vedas personified, that I have taken so much pain and trouble to come here. Only there is one thing here, and that is the King Janaka. But there is no chance to see him even, for I have not been able to enter even within his kingdom." Thus saying, Sukha remained silent and began to stay at one with who has taken the vow to remain silent. The guard then took him to be a very wise Brahmana and spoke in sweet words. "O Brahmana, go to this place as you like, where you have got your work. O Brahmana, I stopped you, so please excuse me for any offense incurred by me. Free persons like you have mercy alone as their greatest strength." Hearing this, Sukha Deva said, "What is your fault? You are dependent on another. The servant ought to obey the words of the master and serve him by all means. And there is no fault of the king, too, in your not allowing me to enter, for the wise persons ought to ascertain by all means whether the newcomers are enemies or thieves. Hence, when I am quite a stranger suddenly coming to this place, that the fault is wholly mine." The guard then said, "O great Brahmana, what is happiness and what is pain? What ought to be done by your well wishes? Who is your enemy and who is your benefactor? Now advise me on all these points." Hearing this, Sukha Deva said, "Everywhere men are divided. so far as their internal natures are concerned, into two classes. They are called attached and unattached, and the minds of these two classes are again of two kinds. The attached man is stupid and cunning, and the unattached is subdivided into three classes: knowing, unknowing, and middling. The cunning man is divided into two classes, whether his cunningness is according to the dictates of the sastras or arising from his intellect. Again, intellect is subdivided into whether it is yukta, one-pointed, or ayukta, divided. The guard spoke, "O learned one, I cannot understand what you say, so explain them to me what they mean." Sukha Deva said, "Those who are attached to this world are said to be attached persons. These attached persons feel frequently various pleasures and pains. When they get wives, sons, wealth, honor, they get pleasures. And if they do not get any of these, they feel at every moment intense pain. Now the attached person sought to take such means as will secure them the pleasures of this world. So whoever acts against these means are denominated as breakers of their happiness, and so they are enemies. And whoever aids in their acquiring pleasures are denominated as their friends. Of these, the attached, but at the same time cunning man does not get confounded and bewildered by them, whereas stupid attached men get always bewildered everywhere. The man that is dispassionate and engaged in determining the self dwells in a solitary place and meditates on self, finds pleasure in studying the Vedanta sastras, and feels pain in all the topics of worldly affairs. The wise man that wants to his real welfare and is averse to the worldly enjoyments finds that he has many enemies. Lust, anger, palaces, etc. are his so many enemies. Contentment is his only friend in the three lokas, and no one is his real self. Hearing these words of Sukha Deva, the watchman considered Sukha Deva a very wise man and soon led him to a very beautiful apartment. Sukha Deva then began to see that the town was full of three sorts of men, good, middling, and bad, and the shops were filled with various articles of merchandise. The many things were being incessantly purchased and sold there within that town, filled with many men, money, and all sorts of wealth and prosperity. Almost everywhere were seen instances of attachment, hatred, lust, anger, greed, vanity, and delusion. At some points, there were seen persons quarreling with each other. Seeing thus the three sorts of persons, the highly energetic Sukha Deva, blazing like a second sun, went to the royal palace when the gateman stopped him. He stood there like a log of wood and began to meditate on moksha, on liberation. He began to think of the light and darkness as the same. The greatly ascetic Sukha Deva became merged in meditation and remained at one place motionless. In an instant, a royal minister came out and, saluting him with folded hands, took him to a second apartment. Here the minister showed him beautiful divine gardens adorned nicely with rows of divine trees bearing fruits, and gave him a good reception and took him to a very beautiful palace. The minister next ordered the public woman in royal service, expert in music and playing with instruments, and skilled in Kama Sutra, the science of amorous dealings, to attend on Sukha Deva, and went out of the palace. Sukha, the son of Veda Vyasa, remained there. The women prepared various dishes suited to the time and place and sought the satisfaction of Sukha, and then worshipped him duly with greatest devotion. Those ladies then residing within the four walls became enamored to see the beauty of Sukha Deva and showed him the gardens that existed in the inner compound. Sukha was young and beautiful. Over this he was extremely lovely, of nice limbs. His speech was soft and gentle, so he looked like a second Cupid, the god of love. All the ladies struck with Cupid's arrows lost their consciousness. Then recovering, they considered Sukha Devi to be the great controller of passions and began to serve him with great care. The pure-minded Sukha Deva, born of fire, looked on them like his mother. Sukha, finding pleasure in self and the controller of anger, was not pleased or displeased with anything. So though he said that the ladies were disturbed with amorous feelings, he remained quite undisturbed, calm and quiet. The ladies then prepared a very nice bed whereon Sukha Devi would sleep. It was spread over with nice clean bed sheets. Many nice pillows were placed there. He then washed his feet and with vigilance put on his finger the ring prepared of kusa grass, and completing his evening spiritual practices, became merged in meditation. Meditating on Supreme Brahma for 3 hours, he then slept for 6 hours, and getting up again became merged in Brahma meditation for the last 3 hours of the night. Then at their Brahma Muhurta, the 1 hour preceding sunrise, he took his bath and, completing his morning duties, became immersed in samadhi, inner enlightenment, and sat at ease. Thus ends the 17th chapter of the first book on Sukha Deva's displaying his self-control amidst the women of the palace of Matilha in the Mahapurana Srimad Devi Bhagavatam. Jai Mahamaya ki Jai. Bole Baba ki Jai.